Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable, but most importantly, I am human. Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color. Okay, so this is a quick um warning basically. Like, I am going to be showing some images of guys who threaten me or literally tell me to eliminate myself. And some men who, well, yeah, with a lot of my videos, I show real life messages that men send me either through dating profiles or dating apps and or emails and things like that. So if you don't feel safe listening and reading these messages, please, is like, I'll see you another day. And literally, since I'm still pretty brand new, I have over 200 episodes that you can listen and watch. So if you want to catch up with any of those, please, I welcome you to listen to another video. But this one, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna talk about life, death, and how some men tell me that, yeah, let's just say I get kind of deep. So it's just a warning right now. So, but you have a beautiful day. Stay amazing. Live every day to the fullest. Don't let anybody stop you, okay? Take care, and I'll see you in another video. Okay, so when it comes to age, what age or how old would you like to live up to? I remember a couple years ago, I went on a date with a guy and we went out for coffee and to talk, and especially like career wise, he had a lot of aspirations and I loved that about, but it was a terrible date because he was a scumbag. But I do remember that one of his big goals and one reason why he is super healthy is that he wants to live to 100. I believe like his grandfather, he lived to 100 or 101. So that's one of his biggest goals. And sometimes I hear like different people say how they want to meet a certain age, either the age of their grandparent or parent, or sometimes they want to surpass their parents' age, either because of one of the isms or cancer, disease, or something like that happened to one of their family members, and they want to make sure that they surpass. And I know one person who is religious. It's like, we kind of connect like on the Christian. Yeah, they're Democrat and Christian too, so yeah, we correspond quite well. But I remember her telling me how when she gets to heaven, she wants to be able to have that sit down and tell her all the stories about all of the years that she was on earth, and about like, we one thing we love is volunteering and nonprofit work and stuff. So she wants to be able to tell her how she gave back. She wants to be able to say how she ran marathons and different things like that. And so I don't know, it's just I feel like, especially Zennials, who, especially with, okay, one thing I don't get, even millennials and Zennials, like some of the younger millennials that I keep bumping into on dating apps. Why do you what like if you're not interested in a woman, why would you write them? And I've stated this in other times, but especially young guys. And sometimes when they write me, I match so I can ask them that question, because sometimes I'm like, why are you writing me? It's like, especially when some of them are 22, 23, like, and it's like, I mean, well, basically in their young 20s. I'm like, why are you writing me? I've even had a 19-year-old, and I was just like, okay, hold, you're the type of guy who I would need to take to the police station, check your ID. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be interested in them anyways, but it's like I would go through a whole full list of protocol, and I would have like, police officer, is he okay? Because I don't trust the police. I don't trust the popo, but like, if I was to even ever imagine that situation, I would have a full on list of, okay, we gotta make sure and check you are who you say you are, and you're the age that you say you are. Okay, okay, because yeah, I ain't going to prison for no. I'm good. I'm good. It's like, yeah, I entertain myself quite well. I don't need. It's like on top. Like, I don't want to say I don't need a man, but over the years, I have dated such terrible men to the point where, for my mental health, I don't need a man. It's like after everything I've done for men, I don't need a man because none of these men have ever done anything for me or have been able to uplift or help me. And sometimes I'm just like, why do you men hate women who strive? Why do you guys hate women who want to accomplish? Why do you hate women who just has aspirations other than sucking or like having your babies? Like, a lot of men, they think that should be the a woman's only goal. And sometimes I wonder why, how come God made us where women mature faster, sooner, our brains develop faster. And then even intellectually, there's some areas where, yeah, sorry, yeah, we're kind of great and amazing. And empathy and like, because even career wise, we're stereotyped on what we're supposed to be. It's like women are supposed to be the nurses, men are supposed to be the doctors. And I'm sometimes I remember one of my male friends, and I dated, well, kind of dated a nurse, but yeah, he did not tell me that I there was going to be an expiration date on if I did not sleep with him by a certain date, then he was just going to block me and ghost me, and then he was going to blame my family members for it. Like, that's like, I'll tell that story a different day, a different time. Remember, I'm messy, I'm sloppy, just like my life is, you know. But like, with all of my experiences, everything that I've been through, I have lived a life. And at the same time, I have so much more because now, I mean, sadly, that my mom has passed away from cancer, the monster, the no good, the cancer, not my mother. Yeah, I've had a terrible relationship, but I won't call her a monster. Okay. Okay, just making sure we're good. Okay, but anyway, there's still so much I want to do. Finally, I will be able to write and publish my books. And I've already published 6 books, and I have about 20 more in, like, in some kind of phase. And sometimes, like, even last week, I thought of another idea, and I'm just like, so I created a list in an Excel sheet. Yes, remember, I'm a nerd. Of, okay, here's another idea. And I wrote like a little synopsis of the idea and where I would want to take it. And so it's like, there's so much, like, if that's 20 books and I'm adding on to that, I'm going to need more years. I'm going to need more time. And then with the greeting cards company, it's like, I know I don't have kids. You guys already kind of know my, like, part of the story. I'll tell the full story in a year or two, whatever. But especially the no good Mr. No Heart, he literally threatened if I had kids, he was going to leave me. But yeah, even he would have been the father. But then he says that his 2 daughters were mistakes or are mistakes. They're still alive. But yeah, he said that at least 8 times. But, and part of me just wonders, these guys, well, a lot of the guys that write me, especially the young guys, they either tell me that since you're single, You're supposed to let me use you until I find someone else. Do you know how many of these Zennial men have written me and told me this? And I'm going to put some of them, like, you're probably going to be reading some of these while I'm talking about it, because in my mind right now, I'm thinking of some of the images and I'm remembering some that I've never uploaded because I need to find them in my phone. Yes, I have so much evidence. Anyway, but a lot of these men telling me that, oh, you're old, so that means you're of no use to a man. And some men are like, you're dried up anyway, so you're supposed to let me, like, some men even like, oh, it's like, since you're old or whatever, I could just choke you out or whatever. I can do whatever I want with you. Excuse me, what? And like, part of me is just like, because sometimes I've asked the questions and a lot of the men block me or they tell me, shut the blank up or some other stupid thing. Because when they try to say I'm old and I am of no use and everything. And I've even had some of my college students, especially at the community college, try to say I'm old. And I'm just like, okay, so I went through college, then I went for my first master's and then my second master's and my certifications. That takes time. And I'm not a genius, so I didn't get to skip a grade. So yeah, that took some time. And then I worked as a promotional model for 12 years. It's like a lot of that's during my grad school or whatever. But like, parts of me was just like, getting the experience to be able to teach you takes some years. And like, I know there are some professors who they don't have that hands on. And then when I try to teach some students the hands on, they shrug their shoulders and they say, oh, I don't care, this doesn't matter. And it's like, jobs are easy anyway, or they just say so many ignorant things. I'm like, whoo. Anyway, but and for me to get where I am, for me to have obtained and absorbed the information, it takes time. And now for me to write my books and start my business and even talk about disability and the issues around how people portray us and stereotype us and how they box us in or they try to cage us in our houses, telling us not to leave the house. It's like, I feel like my life, the rest of my years are going to be focused on making sure people know, do not stereotype us. Because I know sometimes when I'm in public, do you know how many people try to come up and, like, sometimes it feels like they're babying me. And I've told people, okay, do not touch that door. I've got it. And they kind of look at me. They're like, oh, well, you just look, I did. And I remember one lady, she kept asking if I needed help. And at one point, I was just like, no, no, thank you. It's like, I don't know why. It's like, do I just look that pitiful? And she's like, no. Actually, you're well put together. And I've even had people say, who dressed you? And I'm like, and I know some people with disabilities need assistance dressing, but I'm not one of those. So I just hope that people understand that not everybody with a disability needs assistance with dressing or eating, or some people are able, like, I need a scooter, I need a walker and stuff, but majority of the things I do on my own. There are some things like, I get my groceries shipped because that's easier for me, but over time, I do hope, like, might not be for the bulk grocery shopping, but I will start going grocery shopping here and there again. But when it comes to age, allow people to enjoy all of their years. And while you're young, enjoy being young. I didn't get that. I was punished and ridiculed and torn down to the point where I have a lot of empathy for Michael Jackson now that I think about it. I kind of understand his pain. in a lot of ways because part of like a lot of my years were stolen from me, taken from me because of doctors. But at the same time, I can't get those years back. And a lot of these young kids who they want to harass and put down the old people, the older people, guess what? Would you like the question I keep asking some of these young guys? Would you rather be young or dead? Because once you're no longer young, you're mocking me for not being young. So that means you want me dead. Like one guy literally wanted me dead. So yeah, oops. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I need to put a little fair warning at the beginning of this episode. Yeah, because I'm gonna show a screenshot of a guy who, just because I wouldn't sleep with him. And I talked about this my one of my very very first episodes, but then they turned it into an 18 and up because I guess I didn't do the warning because I didn't. It's like I described it before, but I didn't know how to do the whole warning. So, but yeah, some of these men literally think that we are just supposed to, especially older women who are not married, we're just supposed to be like, okay, since I'm alone, since no man wants me, I'm just going to open up for everybody, even especially the young ones who want to try out an older woman, or to them, an old woman. But sometimes I wonder, did they say this to their grandmothers? What about if their moms are divorced? Did they say this to them? Did they say, Mom, since you're old now, it's like, are you just going to open up the door to any man? Why don't you? Why not? Call up all your boys and invite them over. Like, why don't you do that? Yeah, because that's the way a lot of these, like, and that's one reason why it's like, I mostly use the dating apps more to screenshot the idiot MAGA Republican men who try to put me down for being a liberal and stuff like that so I can have more evidence for my shows. I I went on one terrible date recently, but and it's like, yeah, he proved more why I'm like, yeah, it's good to be single. Just focus on my goals, just focus on my dreams. And I just want to ask you guys, what is your goal? What's the goal age? Are you health wise? Are you working on that? Goal wise, do you have a lot, like, with all the goals, like, how do you want to leave when your obituary is being written? It's like, what year do you want on it for the end date? Because they have the sunrise and sunset. When do you want that sunset? And with that list of, like, what all do you want people to be able to say about you? And like all the people that show up. It's like, in over time, do you want there to be grandkids and great grandkids going up and saying how wonderful and amazing you are? Because if you do, that means for the grandkids, that means you're going to have to be a little older. If you want them to be able to talk about you and know you, you're going to have to be a little on the old side, right? And so all of these young men, really old boys in my mind, they keep trying to tear me down. Sometimes I wonder, are they jealous? Are they mad? Because a lot of these guys who say I am of no use, or I'm old, or I'm useless, it's like a lot of them are actually in the army. Oops. Or a lot of them have low education, or a lot of them, looking at their profiles, yeah, I'll stop there. But yeah, sometimes when I look, I'm like, okay, I can't say I'm surprised. I can't say I'm surprised. So here's some homework for my viewers or my listeners. Write a list of everything you want to be able to accomplish, and maybe even have a goal age. And I know sometimes we don't know what's going to happen. We never know. But sometimes if you write that year down, that age down, and then you look at the goals that you want to accomplish, you realize how much time you have left. And sometimes that encourages you to, like, sometimes, like, if you're feeling a little lazy or you keep procrastinating, sometimes when you look at that, it makes you be like, no, get up. Because I may not have tomorrow. Because if I hit that goal that's on that board, I may only have a few decades left, a couple, or one, or a half decades, or maybe not even that long. And or if cancer is something dreadful, like, ooh, cancer is a monster. It's like, but if you look at that year, or if you just, sometimes just looking at that year goal will motivate you. And I'm creating my dream board now, and I'm kind of excited about that. And I think I might add my goal year, because at least that way, that can help push me. Because I know there's at least 3 children's books that should be out by now, but yeah, when your brain works in so many ways to the point where you literally have 20 different projects juggling in your mind. And yes, I don't have any kids. I wanted kids, but oh, I dated absolutely terrible men. And if you've been listening to my videos, you already know, yeah, when you're undiagnosed with a disability for over 30 years, and men tell you that you're too pretty to walk like that, so you either need to buckle down and learn how to walk, or you God doesn't love me enough, or I don't love God enough, or I don't pray hard enough, or I must be so stupid, or the R word, or they would love to be my boyfriend or whatever, but they would be embarrassed to walk around with me, yada, yada, yada. A lot of you already know. But some of that, I have to remind myself while living the rest of my life, because those words, because some of them are like, why would you remember those words? Because they keep me going. Because once I'm able to get more books out and get my business fully going, they will hate me. I'm petty. I like, with some of the men who've told me that I will never publish a book. Yeah. And it's crazy too, because I caught one looking at one of my posts on, wasn't Instagram, because I hardly post on Instagram, but it was on one of the social medias. I saw that they looked at my profile, and I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you looking at? What, like, you literally told me that I would never publish a book, and that actually, like, he's against books for some reason, because he was like, only idiots would write books. And I'm like, so when you went through school, how did you learn how to read? And yeah, it's like he didn't like me that much. Yeah, it's like I'm pretty, yeah, I'm petty, dry humor, not everything like that. But I was just like, okay, so if books are so dumb, but yeah, it's like he's probably one of those guys that are the average reading level in America, but that's a different story for a different day. So I'm gonna do another episode with age and this, the woman in the image, and well, it's a link, so please click on it. This woman is amazing. And just knowing that the wars that she lived through, and like the stories that she has, and even about her marriage and story and stuff, it's wonderful and beautiful. And being able to be the oldest person on earth. So when some of these men try to call me old, I'm just like, At least I made it to this age. Some people don't get to say that. At least I'm living and trying to love life. There was a time where I hated life because of doctors. Yeah. There are some great doctors, but some that are monsters, just like cancer. Maybe that's why they became doctors, because they are a cancer to society. Maybe it's because they're literally killing part of humanity and they do it intentionally in order to gain more money in their wallet. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. So, anyway, what is your goal age? What aspirations, what things do you want to be able to accomplish during your life? And if anyone ever tries to call you old, boo boo, at least you made it to this age. You're breathing. And when people say you're old, turn around and tell them, okay, so when you get to my age, do you want to still be living? Do you still want to be breathing, or do you want to be dead? Do you want to already have your grave ready? Are you ready to be 6 feet under? Are you ready? If so, okay. But it's not fair when people try to just call you old, and it's an insult. It's like being alive and surviving some of this crazy nonsense is amazing and beautiful. And one reason I like volunteering with, especially like, I forgot the exact nonprofit, but it was a lot of older citizens or senior citizens, African Americans, and oh my gosh, the stories they were sharing. Ooh, the older you get, the juicier gossip you got. They were telling me things. I was like, ooh, popcorn snack ready. And so, yeah, the older in age you have, the more life you get to share and express, and great advice you can give. So these men can try to say I'm old, but I'm like, at least I'm living. At least I'm breathing. At least I'm not going to let these fools try to stop me, keep me dormant. Because that's what a lot of them, they just want to be at home. Well, I'll just leave that. But thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too. Enjoy every second, every minute, every day, every year, every decade. Take care.